Hi, everybody. I'm Tim Hockett. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about the anger that is dividing us and maybe some things we can do about it. You know, shouting at school board meetings, jeering at political rallies, protests that turn violent, online name calling, vicious scapegoating, legislative walkouts. A lot of anger is being expressed in America. And anger is one of those passions that can be contagious, and it's dividing us for sure. You know, years ago in the 70s, I watched a movie called Network. It was kind of a parody on the influence that TV has on people. The newscaster, played by Peter Finch, was told that he was going to lose his job because the ratings were too low. And so one night on TV, he said, "Next week, tune in because I'm going to commit suicide." Well, everybody tuned in the next week and the ratings soared. And so he didn't lose his job and he kept doing outlandish things until one night uh, he told his audience, kind of in the mode of almost like a biblical prophet, "I want you to go to your nearest window and I want you to open up and I want you to stick your head out and yell, 'I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take this anymore.'" Well, lo and behold, millions of his viewers did just that. They didn't really know what they were mad at, but it caught on and the show's ratings just took off. Well, you know, if you're told over and over and over that you ought to be mad, pretty soon you just start getting mad. And I'm here to tell you that there are hate mongers among us who are trying like crazy to deepen the division among Americans by stating in harshest terms that we're going to lose our way of life, we're going to lose our identity as a nation, we're going to lose all of our freedoms, and it makes people mad. And you know what? Mad people can be easily manipulated. Okay, I could dwell on how I think we've been manipulated into anger without a good basis, but instead I want to suggest two ways to combat being manipulated by fear and anger, and then share two skills I've learned about true anger management. Okay, first, to avoid being manipulated, become well informed. Don't accept someone's cry of wolf without checking it out. If you find out that the claim was false, then you won't be angry. If you find out it's only partially true, maybe you'll be annoyed, but you won't be nearly as vulnerable to being manipulated. Second, learn to count to 10. You know, I know it's kind of an old school saying, you know, to say count to 10 when you're upset if you get irked. But what that really means is to think before you act on impulse. Good people don't resort to short-tempered solutions. A lot of anger and fear that our country feels, in my view, is just like a house built on the sand. There's no foundation. All right. I also want to share with you two little things that I learned about anger and anger management that I think will be helpful. The first is, please remember that anger is a response generated inside of you. Anger doesn't come from outside, it comes from inside. A woman tells a story of going to live in New York City and got her first really great job. She was feeling so good about herself. She was coming home from the subway, coming up, ascending the stairs out of the subway, and somebody came up behind her and pinched her butt. And she was furious. So she made a fist and she turned around, and there was her husband holding a bouquet of flowers. He said, "I hope your first day at work was good, honey." And she quickly hugged him. Just give him a big hug, you know. And the woman telling the story said, "What happened? Where did the anger go?" Circumstances were different than what she thought. She thought someone just came up and pinched her, and she found out that the only person in the world, in her circle, that she would let pinch her was her husband, and there he was, smiling. You see, the anger was nothing external. Nobody made her angry. It was her brain that caused a false perception. Keep that in mind. Anger comes from inside. Don't let people falsely trigger it. I want to leave you with another anger management trick. I want you to think about comparing your upset and your anger to some bodily harm to yourself. It's kind of an interesting trick. So you come to me and you say, you know, I'm really mad. Somebody parked in my spot again. I might ask you, is it as bad as losing an arm or a leg? No. Is it as bad as losing an eye? No. Is it as bad as a gunshot wound? No. Is it as bad as a deep cut or maybe losing a finger? No. But finally, I'm going to say, is it as bad as maybe a paper cut? Yeah, it's as bad as a paper cut. Then I would ask, well, can you handle a paper cut? Oh, yeah, I guess I can handle a paper cut. Most anger takes on dimensions much larger in our minds than is necessary. And we can help ease the division among us by recognizing hate, recognizing fear mongers, by not allowing ourselves to be manipulated, and by slowing our anger through investigating the truth and by using some simple techniques to understand our upset and reduce it to a manageable emotion. Let's cool the temperature and we'll become closer, we'll become more united, and it'll make us a stronger nation. Think about it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, share. I'm Tim Hockett.